Welcome aboard the Spirits Operator podcast. I'm your host, Psychic Medium Mary B. Join me as we navigate the ethereal currents between the mystical and the mundane. Get ready to explore the unseen forces shaping our world and discover how to harness their power for personal growth, healing, and transformation. Hello, everybody. I'm Mary B., Psychic Medium and Intuitive Life Coach. I wanted to introduce you to the newest podcast series, which is titled Earth to Essence. And this particular episode is called Empowering Empathic Beings. What I wanted to do with this podcast episode is to help individuals who are on their empath journey be able to navigate it a little bit stronger, to be able to increase their own personal strengths and awareness and create boundaries and see themselves for the magical beings that we are. So it's very near and dear to my heart because I've explored this quite a bit myself. I have taught this to many students. Currently, I do offer an online course, and you can find this course at spiritsoperator.com for the Intuitive Development Courses tab, and it is called Energy Balance and Protection for Empaths. So I made it really accessible, really affordable for individuals to be able to explore this at their own pace. So it's a self-paced online course that you'll follow. And today I'm going to talk about the different things that I encourage people to learn about when working on being an empath and trying to find your way through the world as we know it. So let's start off with the definition of empathy. So empathy being the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. So that is feelings and empathy. That doesn't necessarily mean empath. So there's a difference between the two. Now, the way that I see it, I'm going to go off of my own personal definition of this. So when we're looking at an empath is sensitive to something specific. So there's several different types of empaths, and you can be more than one, of course, but you may have heightened sensitivity to particular versions of this. Just like we all have different sensitivities to sound or to light or things like that, we have these sensitivities that may increase because we're just a unique individual. When I first heard about the term empath, it kind of shook me up a little bit, and I'm going to tell you why. So my friend that I'm going to end up having on this podcast here soon, my friend and I went to a local metaphysical shop, and we met with someone there, and she was a psychic medium as well, and we had a conversation with her. This was kind of like the opening, what labels we would identify with. So we were told, well, my friend was told she's an empath. And I was told that I would help dead people cross over, like ghosts, cross over into the spirit realm. And I kind of sat back and I said, okay, so am I not an empath? And I started questioning that because it was like, well, if I'm not an empath, then am I a narcissist? And I'm going to tell you, it's likely narcissists don't ask if they're narcissists. So they just don't realize it. That they are already that, or they are already struggling with that, right? So what we're looking at here is I ask myself, okay, well, am I an empath? And the answer was not in the same way as, say, my friend was. After diving deep into this subject of the empath, I found that there were several different types. Now, there may be more, but I'm going to go off of what I have found and what research has led me to and what experiences that I've come across with individuals and updating that definition of these things. So again, remember that an empath is someone who is sensitive to something specific. We've got, in the beginning here, most of us as empathic beings are going to have ability of claircognizance. That's a French word, clair, meaning clear. So clear knowing that you're able to sense something specific, something that needs attention, or something is misleading, or you're unsure. A secondary one would be emotionally receptive empath. So someone who is highly receptive to the emotions of other people. Our physically receptive empath, that's going to be someone who perceives physical pain from other people. So the next is a fauna empath, and that's somebody who is able to connect deeply with animals, whether that be a telepathic communication with animals or just like a knowing within their strength of knowing ability, to connect with them and know what they need. Our flora empath, these are going to be your green thumbs, people who communicate with plants and can actually hear and see, the auras around the plants and connect and see what they need. Our geomantic empath, when this one was revealed to me, it helped me help other people understand what they were feeling. So this geomantic empath reads the energies and the signals from the earth. So people that have this ability tend to feel natural disasters before they happen. They may feel sad or frustrated or afraid, or something, but they don't really know what it is. And then they come to a point where this natural disaster is there. So, in one of the groups that I follow online, an individual was talking about how they actually channel draw areas on the planet that they're feeling intuitively led to draw out. And typically, there's some sort of event, a natural disaster that comes to follow that. Now, well, that can make people feel very overwhelmed. And that includes feeling, things that are in the land or things that happened on the land that can create pain surrounding that space. So keep that in mind. The other is a medium empath. So a medium is going to be able to perceive the subtle information that's coming from the spirit realm, or ghosts even, or even extraterrestrial beings. So they're going to be kind of the sensitive to those things. So then we have our psychometric empath. That's someone who receives impressions from objects. Our precognitive empath, that's someone who's very sensitive to things happening in the future. They may have dreams or things like that that kind of lead them to future information, and they feel situations before they happen. Our telepathic empath, which is the ability to communicate unspoken word through thought, and then telekinetic. So I have had experience with individuals who have telekinesis. Things around them fly when they are having struggles, when their energy gets high, or when the energy around them kind of goes out of control. Things happen in the physical that create actual movement in their space. So keep in mind that you may start out with something specific, one of these traits specific to you. And then the more that you meditate, the more that you increase your awareness, the more boundaries you set, the more clear you are with your intentions and your path, the more of these can kind of come into play. So I would say I leaned more towards our clear knowing in the beginning, very forward on what I knew was coming in, and then moved more into a mediumistic type empathic connection, and a lot of precognitive information. So came in dream form or just thoughts that kind of floated into the mind. So before they happened. And as I've worked, I've got more sensitive and more sensitive to the other types of things. So it just really depends on where you start out and what you're looking to increase and how you focus on those things. With any of these types of empathic abilities, you're going to find that setting boundaries is really, really important. Setting boundaries and creating grounding techniques, using crystals, using things like that, it's going to help you really set the pace for where you want to go and what you're going to allow into your energetic bubble. So, grounding techniques. One of my favorite techniques to teach to kids and to adults, but particularly children when they're kind of stuck in a space that they can't get out of. Have them shake their hands, and they think in their mind or they say it out loud in a whisper, whatever it is. They shake their hands off kind of towards the ground and say, "This is not my pain. This is not my pain. This is not my pain." So we say that 3 times, and that's actually one of my favorite techniques to teach people on how to release energy that is not theirs if they've picked something up, whether it be spirit related, whether it be human related, whether it be environmentally related, it all works in the same way. So that's going to be one of my favorite ones that I want to share with you today. Of course, I have all of my other ones online through the course. And then stones that help you with that, you can look online and kind of get an idea of what stones help for what thing. Um, Most of the time, you're going to really connect to something right away. You'll find that what you're actually drawn to can be very helpful to create the boundary that you're looking for. So that's something that when walking into a crystal store, a metaphysical store, really just go for initially what it is you're drawn to. You can reference books and things like that that will guide you to what it is you're wanting to increase or work with. So, another important thing to take note of is cleansing your space. So, whether you're living with other people or you're by yourself, it doesn't matter. You're still going to kind of create energy that comes out of your body. It's going to come out of your body or it's going to come from somewhere else and it's going to influence the space. You could have energy coming from the collective that's stressing you out. And then when that happens, it increases. And I like to call it energy vomit. It just gets bigger and bigger, and we're kind of getting it out of our body, getting it out of our body. But then it's around the house. So when you have this energy vomit, just like you would have if you actually got sick and it was all over your floor, you'd clean it. So you're going to do the same thing energetically, right? So you cleanse your space. However you decide to do that, that's going to be really important for you. Resetting the energy in your home and or in your room. So again, if you're sharing a house with somebody and you can't cleanse the whole thing, you can cleanse your space. There are ways to do that. There are ways to do that without even using any smoke or anything like that, like sage or Palo Santo. You can use intentions and energy because remember, you are a powerful being. You have the ability to do this. So I love doing that. I love teaching that. That's one of the things I've learned along my journey, and I like to share with people. Another is actually energetic cord cutting. So this works very, very well. So if you have a person or a specific situation that you are not happy with, when we interact with other individuals, whether it be connecting with someone at the grocery store, we have an interaction with them and we make a cord connection. The deeper the cord connection, of course, the stronger the relationship has been over time. So, say I meet you at the grocery store and then I start talking to you and we become friends. And then over time, that cord gets stronger and stronger between you and I. So, if I wanted to remove that cord, I could do that and it would come out of the body and sever the cord between you and I, making it easier for us to separate from each other, to release any bindings that we have and contracts that we have. So, a lot of times people wonder, well, what if I have someone that I love dearly that also drives me a bit crazy? Um, and it's typically family. We love our families, but sometimes there are things that they're human too. They're going to do stuff that really doesn't help us on our path as much as we would like, right? So how do we do that? We notice the cord between our family members, and you can specifically cut cords that are only negative cords that have negatively influenced you or continue to do so, and leave the love that you have for that person so that you can still have that connection. Because if you fully sever the cord, that cuts them out. That makes it super easy for you to just say goodbye. And that's not necessarily what everybody wants to do. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's necessary, and that's okay too. If you need to cut out people in your life, do that. I've been there, done that. So it's important to kind of evaluate why you're doing it, why you want to do it, and how you want to do that. So there's cord cutting exercises online. There's tons of different options out there, but the biggest thing is setting your intentions and being very specific about what you need and what you want there. So I hope that this is kind of giving you some basic idea of being an empath and kind of setting boundaries, because when we are out and about, we need to set those energetic boundaries. My other favorite is a coffee filter. So this is what I actually do when I go out. I typically wear stones that Like I'll wear bracelets, I'll wear necklaces, and those stones will have the energetic vibration that repels certain things, and it'll repel energy. And typically that's like a black tourmaline, or an onyx or something of that nature. And I'll wear that and I'll go out, and it helps a lot. It helps kind of clear that. If you find that all of a sudden it's not working as well as it used to, you'll want to clear the energy from the stone and have it refreshed again. So any energy you clear, you're going to send it to the void to be destroyed or transmuted into something else. So I wear those stones, and then if I'm feeling particularly vulnerable, I tend to use my protection symbol that I have gotten from my guides. That is something that I also teach within that course. And we get the protection symbol from our guides, and it's unique to us. It's very specific to what we need. And so I will envision the protection symbol that I've been given right in front of a particular person if I feel like I need to set up a boundary right away. But if I'm going into, say, a grocery store or a department store, I will envision a white light all around my body. So I call it the coffee filter. You put it all around your body from the feet to the top, covers you completely, and only allows in the good stuff. Everything else that is negative or affecting you in a negative way stays out. So these are some practical tips that I hope that will help you along your journey. And through this entire podcast, we're going to be meeting with individuals that are sharing their own techniques and their own path on how they were able to navigate being an empath in this very busy world, of how they ground, how they protect their energy. And my goal for you is to be able to empower you in that way as well. So I hope you enjoy the podcast.